Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Day9.
I'm DJ Wheat. Welcome back. We're going to hop into Game 2 here in just a moment between SaSe and CrazyMoving after a completion of Game 1. Next map is going to be Shakur's Plateau, but
we want to go ahead and take a brief Nas performance replay look at that last game because there was a moment where, honestly, SaSe was looking fantastic. It's right at 14 minutes and 20 seconds. We see that the DTs have just been cleared out in the main. In the bottom right, the Dark Templar is about to kill off this queen, and SaSe is looking poised to be in a great position. He's moving forward. He takes this base right here. CrazyMoving has a lot of expansions, but still has to replenish a little bit of droning to be able to comfortably step into the game. Now, to note, if you're a Mutaling player, you're going to be all about aggression and counterattacking, and look at that Zerg vision. He is almost exclusively on his third of the map, not even on his half. He hardly has anything in the middle, but literally brilliant decision to move all the way up to this northern side with a lot of those lings literally devoting everything to that huge counterattack. And this split with the Mutas I thought was so key. If there were units hiding here, he would have the Lings ready to pounce on this base, ready to take out the fourth, the Mutas ready to go into the main. And this decision to completely sacrifice this expansion is such a difficult one to make in the moment, but immediately taking out this expansion, and suddenly CrazyMoving realized that he needed to make this work, voluntarily sacrificing this expansion. I mean, on the mini-map, we see the wonderful split there, but CrazyMoving doesn't even make an attempt to rescue this third. I mean, potentially could have saved a good amount of drones that he not been controlling so much in the main. And despite SaSe's very, very deep experience defending against these kinds of base trades, I mean, the Muta count was just so high, 28 Mutalisks. At 16 minutes, I mean, the units lost tab, we see already spiking hard for SaSe. And that really, I think, was essential for CrazyMoving. He didn't do any sort of messing around. He didn't do any kind of messing around. No transition beforehand, no Hydras, no Roaches, no Infestors, nothing. Literally sprinted to Mutas and used them just right.
And I mean, his numbers were so high, he was controlling his Lings well, and you know, that was one of those decisions where as a player, you can't really second guess yourself. If you go in and then you decide to turn back more times than not, that's game over. You've just, you know, that decision to turn back will lead to a loss. But now I'm going to move on to MLG Shakur's Plateau, selection by SaSe. And CrazyMoving looking really good. I mean, you know, playing a game like this up on the main stage, despite the fact that we've got a Code A player, you know, a lot of times it's these types of venues, it's these types of matches that really put these guys on the map. A lot of folks out there that deserve to be on that map, but really gaining a lot of fans, gaining a lot of audience backing through matches like this. Can SaSe bring it back, though, Sean? That's the big question.
I think SaSe may very well use his patented two-gate opening here today. In the top left corner, the man who always is rooted by the cheer cannon. From Sweden and Team Quantic, it is SaSe.
That didn't sound like the real cheer
That
cannon.
didn't sound like the real cheer cannon. She has
but good effort, good effort, good effort.
The cheer cannon's lungs pierce right into your sinus, even from back behind the curtain.
In the southeast position as the blue Zerg from Infinity 7. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for CrazyMoving. Someone said there's no positions in space, that there's no direction in space. I think he's right, but I'm just going to keep saying it.
Is that a philosophical comment?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's
like,
to
you know,
commentary?
technically he might be right, but I just, you know, just now I'm going to be thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
With the northwest at about 7.5 on the Z-axis as well. We have got, yeah, I don't know. Let's take it in this game.
SaSe planning down that pylon at the front, scouting the close by air position first. Now going to find out that is CrazyMoving is hanging out in that bottom right. Again, CrazyMoving from Team Infinity 7. A team that has a pretty strong roster, you know, players like J Echo on there, blanking on other names, obviously because I'm casting. CrazyMoving now just going for the pretty standard pool first, and the big question is, how is SaSe going to open?
Yeah, I mean, SaSe, we've seen him with those unorthodox openings, and again, he wasn't that successful versus Rhett, but as you said, really playing on a fine line where a few seconds here, an extra zealot here, maybe the right decision or moving this or that can change everything. And we are going to see a Nexus first out of SaSe. This is commonly something that he does like to do and likes to live on the edge a little bit. There we see the Nexus go down. Of course, that was delayed just a little bit due to this pylon here inside the natural of CrazyMoving. Now, you know, on Shakura's Plateau, getting that third, still an option for the Zerg. But what's interesting is that it really is far away in comparison to other maps where Zergs feel absolutely comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I mean, a little curious to see if CrazyMoving is going to be as aggressive about taking that as other Zergs are. Wow, they're now the third going down, but 6 Lings coming out and a Queen. How's SaSe going to follow this up?
I think he wanted that to happen.
I mean, this
Maybe
is
not.
certainly a nice opportunity for SaSe, because with the second hatch being delayed here at the natural, it means the creep spread from natural to third will be almost non-existent.
Yeah. Now, what do we got at the front now? We do have the gateway, another pylon going down, the cannon as well. So he's definitely preparing his front wall. The next question is going to be, are we going to see him go with what he did in some other matches versus Zerg recently, where he drops another gateway and then he gets a ton of zealots? But I just have to feel, nope, there we see the side core go down, and I guess SaSe just not feeling comfortable enough with that style, especially versus a, you know, cannon finishing up, but Lings will be able to sneak in.
Oh, CrazyMoving.
Yeah. This works out quite good for him.
Slipping his way in. That, I cannot express the amount of hatred Protosses have for having this happen. Oh, no. The Lings are in the main base.
Yep, and now he gets in, you know, with really no consequences at all. No Lings lost. He can now take probes off mining. But SaSe is really good with this. Let's not forget that game where, you know, SaSe got cannon rushed and very, very comfortably moved his probes around, kept the probes. It was on this map, in fact, kept the probes on the patches on the far west side of his base. And, I mean, was just very calm and collected. So I don't expect him to be really any different in this particular engagement.
Now, I don't know if many of you know about this little control trick, but Control-C brings up the actual APM of the players, and we see right now CrazyMoving moving fast, regularly spiking well over 300 actions per minute now that he's cleaned up those Lings in the main. We see SaSe, quite a fast player as well, over 200. CrazyMoving, oh, look at this. SaSe going Stargate. Whoa, he hates going Stargate.
You know what? I like it, though. I like it. I want to see if we're going to get more. Yep, we do have +1 on the way. So maybe we'll get to see that ultra hyper aggressive Stargate play that I felt SaSe looked really strong, and you even commented on it yourself. We do already have 1 Stalker and a Zealot making his way out, and you know, the third, as you mentioned, going to be pretty vulnerable here. We have a Spine Crawler going up because, you know, he definitely knows about it. The Stalker at the front is going to work on these Lings a little bit, is going to be able to take out at least 1 where he backs off, and isn't going to be able to get a Queen too. We have 8 Lings on the way.
Looks like SaSe still pulling back. He's trying to keep that Ling count as low as possible. God, he is good with his Stalker control. And there we see it looks like SaSe builds a pylon and then goes, wait a minute, I'm under an Overlord, and then moves to the left and then rebuilds the pylon.
It's like, I won't know. But the Lings definitely know.
The Lings knew. The Lings suspect everything.
Oh, ready?
And look at CrazyMoving. Instead of just following the probe, splits 2 off in the center of the map. SaSe still with that remarkable control. And the Void Ray doth cometh, outeth marketh.
Yes, it is on its way, as well as the additional 3 gateways. The Warp Gate, of course, finished. He's opening up gateway number 1. We've got another pylon down below, and that one might actually be even more deadly, because look at how much focus we see here from CrazyMoving at that third. 2 Spore Crawlers going up.
A great little snag there by CrazyMoving. He will get both of those units, and now we see the single pylon there at the south side, getting a Zealot warp in. 4 more gateways now done. And I'm not gonna lie, this is late at 9 minutes of warp in. Yuck. That is as late as it gets, Marcus.
Yeah, this is really great, though. I mean, he's going to be attacking here at the third with these Zealots. He'll be able to take out those Spore Crawlers, then get that Void Ray in. Additionally, he's got these Zealots now making their way in, and I think he could have probably waited for another round and then gone in and done exactly that, but he's just going to hold off a little bit. And, I mean, making some good decisions so far, but what is he going to do with these Lings?
Looks like he's still poking around the map. Ling speed done for CrazyMoving. Very late roaches from CrazyMoving as well, but not in a bad way, as we see CrazyMoving almost doubling SaSe's food. 93 of 94. There's the roach popping out, and SaSe's going to realize this push is done and done. He has to pull back, and SaSe in an awkwardly bad position. I mean, he's over 1,000 minerals. He's never that high on minerals. Wow.
Oh, and he might lose this Void Ray to the 3 queens.
SaSe.
Oh. Not, well, you know what? That's why he doesn't like those Stargate openings, I guess. I mean, the windows are so small. Players are getting so comfortable dealing with those types of things. You know, the queens were there. Even think back to the last game where the Warp Prism drop was completely just like, I mean, a brick wall and a face met that day when that Warp Prism went down to those 3 queens. And that just shows the responsiveness here of CrazyMoving. Seems to have an answer for everything. And here we have the roaches now moving up to the front. There's not a sentry here to block this off at all.
But in the main of the Zerg, it looks like the nice counterplay by SaSe is doing some good hurt. At the front of the expansion, though, it looks like CrazyMoving still continuing to advance forward with those roaches. We see the Twilight Council is done, but really nothing being done, and another Void Ray fell in the main.
Yeah.
SaSe having a meltdown in this match.
These queens are the heroes of this game. I mean, getting a lot of hurt and a lot of damage done. More Void Rays coming out. Actually, he cancels that Void Ray. He decides, I'm done with this Stargate. It's not doing me anything. He cancels another cannon just in case, but puts up a pylon just in case an additional attack may come. Meanwhile, inside the main, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more gates being added here for QxGSaSe. And that will bring his gateway total to 8.
He also is going to need to add on a robo facility. He doesn't know if Burrow's incoming or not. Some Immortals wouldn't be too bad at all, but quite frankly, I think SaSe will just devote straight to Stalker Sentry. He's just so broke. I mean, his probe count at 45.
Nidus. There's a Nidus at the front of CrazyMoving's base.
Oh my God. Nidus Worm at the natural. This is going to be a brilliant play. Too often Zerg players overbuild Roaches and Hydras in the mid game and then suddenly cannot attack at all. The Protoss player too defensive, too entrenched. This is a trend that we saw Morrow do last weekend. Now the Overseer's advancing forward. SaSe still a little too good for that, but look at the top left. The top left, an Overseer, a very vulnerable position. The Nidus network is almost done there. It finishes, boom.
He's totally baiting with that other one as well, and this is completely wide open. The other Overseer almost making these Stalkers think that maybe he might be up to something, but over here in the west side of SaSe's base is just going to be a massive unload of units, and there's the scream of the Nidus.
And SaSe is going to be so disappointed. Units stream into his main now. Does SaSe have the control? Does he have the unit count? CrazyMoving's units are coming out one at a time, a slow pace as they do eject very gradually out of that Nidus network. And now it looks like SaSe does do the blink forward, but he's got to be so careful.
Yeah, I mean, what else is coming out here? More Hydras are on their way. 7 more is being rallied in the Nidus network. The units have not stopped leaving this Nidus network since it started. A hat's going down to the main base. He wants to end it right here as he moves forward. He takes out these Stalkers one by one, and now that we've got these Hydralisks into the mix, this looks like it will work easily.
CrazyMoving. Oh, more drones coming out, flooding into the main. CrazyMoving sees victory. A showman indeed. The natural has no workers left in it. There's the good game. CrazyMoving makes an appearance in pool play with style.
You know what? That's one way to gain some fans right there. It's like, you know, I've taken my side of the map. I'd like your main base now.
That's a very common place for a Zerg 4th. CrazyMoving with a little bit of a smirk on his face. Has not seen this sort of competition, this sort of fandom since being in GSL. JP and Rob, what'd you think of that Nidus network play?
I mean, it was more of like a manner Nidus because he was just so far ahead at that point. It was unfortunate seeing SaSe it just seemed like SaSe was never comfortable that entire game.
Right. Rob, you know what? It takes a lot of work to walk across that map, okay? You know, he's just making it a little bit more convenient for his units.
I mean, those Hydras, they slither so slow anyway, so got to make their job easier.
You know, a lot of people on Twitter, actually, I was tweeting about CrazyMoving being here for Team IS, and they were just saying, you know, we watch this guy stream every day. It's so awesome to see him now on the big stage at MLG, and I love seeing new players like this, so congrats to him for a big win.
And there's CrazyMoving, still hasn't left the booth.
Waiting.
Letting the tension rise.
There it goes. Keep your hands ready. Your
Oh,
hands
wait, I
should be in a
forgot
motion
something.
like this. They should look a little bit like this, ready to clap.
He's just trolling us, taking
He's
out his keyboard again. What is this?
He's totally trolling. You're playing here again. Oh, maybe he is.
Oh, is he going to have the stage gauntlet for Pool A?
He might.
He may very
He
well.
might.
I mean, CrazyMoving already showing some incredible style in Pool A.
No,
what is-
Okay.
now he's
Pool
definitely
A,
trolling us. for
Marine
sure.
King, Gonzi, MC, and SaSe, the 4 seeded players. The 2 qualified players are CrazyMoving and Thorzane.
Ooh.
Very excited to see the way that Thorzane's going to be playing that out. And give a huge round of applause for the showman Zerg, CrazyMoving. Doesn't even know where to go. He's trapped on stage. Incredible play. A lot of players are going to be excited to see him develop through day 2 and possibly on to Championship Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, always great to see players like that who have a nice history, haven't had that opportunity to get on that main stage and do exactly what they need to do. Now, that does put SaSe at, what, 1-3 now?
SaSe is 1-3 in the group, rapidly going to settle around that 4th, 5th place position in the group of 6. But, I mean, still a lot of stiff competition to go for both Thorzane and CrazyMoving. We don't know how that group is going to be settling out.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of matches coming up, in Pool C has fleshed out Huck, Violet, Sokka, Rhett, the 4 seeded players. The 2 new players, Hart and Kawhi Rice from Team Light. And we're going to be doing Huck versus Hart coming up. A PVT. We've seen a lot of PVZ and PvP out of Huck.
Yeah.
How is his Terran play?
Yeah, well, that one's going to be coming up next after the break. Guys, any quick predictions on that one before we go to commercial break?
Well, I made the mistake of not choosing Huck last time, so I'm just going to choose Huck this time.
Yeah, I mean, quick
Wise
stats. Quick stats on Hardy's 17 and 15 over on the Korean side of things with the 53% win percentage. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, Huck versus Hart here to continue MLG Winter Championship Day 2. I'm DJ Wheat.
I'm Day 9. It's a 2-time champ versus an unknown Korean. See you after this.